Hey, what's up YouTube? This is We All Juggle Knives with the CRKT Obake Skoshi designed by Burnley. The steel on this is 8CR13 MOV and the blade length is 2.4 inches. You see the handle has a nylon wrap, kind of similar to what you would see on a Japanese sword. And underneath that you have a faux rayskin that is highly textured. And that pattern on the blade finish is what we call the ropes pattern. Looks pretty cool. Here is the sheath that the knife comes with. Now you can deploy it by pushing off like this with your thumb. Right? But that lanyard, you're meant to put your belt through this lanyard. Right? You put your belt through the lanyard, and then this either hangs down into your pocket or you can clip it inside your waistband. But whichever way, because this is on your belt, right, when you pull it out, you can pull it out like so. Now it comes with a pocket clip as well. This is the clip that it comes with, so you can attach this to the sheath, right, if you want to clip it, let's say, inside your waistband. Now here is the Obake Skoshi, the small one, and the original Obake. Right, now the designer said that the original Obake is meant as a self-defense type blade, right? But the Skoshi is meant for utility. Now this knife right here is the Obake Skoshi, also designed by Burnley, and you can see what type of blades he likes. You know, Japanese inspired blade shapes. And here's a little family portrait. So what's the benefit of this shape? Well, they're extremely pointed, so very good for piercing. And note how early, right, the curvature of the edge, the belly, note how early it starts on these knives. They have very good slicing ability. They're also very slim. Now honestly, when I first saw this knife, I thought it was meant as like a mini shank, simply because of how pointed it is. And the size of it, it's about the size of a boot knife. But luckily I checked out CRKT's video where the designer himself talks about the knife. And yeah, he meant it as a utility knife. Alright, so let's talk about, would this be good for that function? You know, small utility fixed blade. Well, given how short this is and how light this is, it's going to be extremely easy to carry. And how slim it is. Right, now we said the blade shape is very good for slicing and also for starting cuts. So because of how easy to carry it is and how useful slicing and starting cuts is, I would say this would make an excellent small utility fixed blade. Now here is the Skoshi in between two other small fixed blades from CRKT. On the right is the Spew, previously reviewed, and on the left is the Drop Point Minimalist, which I have also reviewed. Now CRKT has been basically knocking it out of the park with these small fixed blades. So which of these is better? Well, you know, they all have little trade-offs, but really they're so inexpensive. I checked the price on the Skoshi just this morning. It was about $25 on Amazon. I'll include a link if you want to pick one up. But these are all very affordable, so it's not like, you know, an either-or proposition. That Minimalist and this Skoshi are very good slicers. All three of these are very pointed for starting cuts. Right? The Spew is a draw cutter, like a utility knife. And, you know, the Skoshi, it's more narrow than that Minimalist. So it's easier to carry. But the Minimalist being wider and that handle shape, the Minimalist gives you a better grip. Now even though it is meant for utility, I think your average person who just sees this on Amazon and doesn't really know the designer, or maybe doesn't even know of any custom knife makers or designers, a lot of people might also assume that it's a last-ditch knife, you know, just because of how pointed it is. So how good would it be for that usage? Well, you know, both these Obake series knives have no guard, but at least with this one you can cap the end, like so. But this has a 3-finger handle, maybe 3.5 finger, right? So you can't even cap the end unless you have a really small hand, or it's like down here, which is, that's a stretch. Basically, it would be hard to do a strike with this without a risk of cutting yourself. However, I have to say, with a small little last-ditch knife, doing a strike is not really the best way to use them or how they're normally used. In other words, when you have a knife this small, you're not like doing a strike, meaning the knife equivalent of like a boxing punch, right? You're not trying to cover several feet of distance or range. That's not how they use it. Instead of a long reaching strike, usually it's just pressed right up to the body of the opponent and just either pushed in, right, or you do some slicing. But there's a big drawback to that real close range usage, and that is that you have to get into grappling or wrestling range. So if your enemy is a lot bigger and stronger, you have a very short amount of time before they get a hold of you and start doing stuff that's really bad to you. Final conclusions on this CRKT Obake Skoshi. It's light and compact, easy to carry. Alright, the nylon provides a pretty good grip, the wrap. Good for starting cuts. Very good slicer. It's very narrow. That speaks to the ease of carry as well. It's attractive. Would be excellent for a small utility blade. It's affordable. And in a last-ditch situation, it's basically a miniature shank, although it's not designed for that. So overall, it's an excellent blade for the price. Hope you enjoyed seeing it. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.